Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Ben Hollist here at the Sebel Parramatta at the Culture Shock event once again. And I'm speaking to one of the legends of Star Trek. One of my personal favourites, to be honest with you, is Pavel Chekov. Thank you very much, Pavel. Walter Koenig. It's great to have you along here in Australia, and it's good to actually get to meet you. It's an absolute honour.
Oh, thank you. I love being here. I think it's my fourth tour of duty in Sydney, so I'm very pleased to come back.
Now, over the years, you've done quite a few things. You did 5 years in Babylon 5, if I remember rightly.
Right.
I quite enjoyed the show.
So did I. I had a great time. Everybody was just delightful. Everybody respected each other, and it was one of the things that I hold most dear in this business that I'm in.
I watched it for a little while. I actually had a little business spruiking out in shopping centres, and my spruiking name was called Babylon.
What is that a dirty word?
No, spruiking's not a dirty word. Spruiking, going out to shopping centres, standing in front of the shopping centre and go, we have a great lineup of clothes here for cheap prices and so forth. So spruiking out and advertising the shop.
Oh, I see.
And just standing out front of a shop.
Oh, I don't think we have anything quite like that.
Don't you?
No.
Oh, maybe I should come over there and have a go at it.
Yeah. We have pimps.
You got pimps?
Yeah. I mean, they're selling goods that walk back and forth. And it's not the same thing.
No, it's not. You're worrying me, Walter. I like you. You're great. Love this. This is fantastic. Let's just move forward. Not many people have me gobsmacked, but I tell you what, you got me today. That's fantastic. Well, okay, let's moving forward. I'd like to just ask you, the new Star Trek movie, how did you find the actual storyline in regards to having it changing so much?
Didn't bother me at all. That was one of the few things that I wasn't apprehensive about going in. I think I was prepared to see a different kind of story, and in fact, they did. They gave some, they gave us a strong nod in our direction. There was some, obviously they had not omitted the legacy of Star Trek and created something else. But I think that was great. I think I would have been more upset, or I would have been upset, had they just replicated what we had done.
Okay, yes.
I want to see originality. I want to see something that is from new minds, people creating different ideas. So I was tickled. I was tickled with the story. I was tickled with the actors, the performances. Everything was really very, very satisfying to me.
Excellent. Because that's one of the questions I was going to ask you. Is Anton played your character? How did you find being taken into a tall, skinny, curly-haired fella?
He's not that tall.
Yeah, well, he's
he was a terrific actor. He's obviously has a huge career going. I mean, he's played the title role in 2 or 3 movies now that have been released. No mean feat getting a movie released, and he has done that. And his reviews have been universally good. And he's a delightful young man. He's a very charming, delightful young man. So I couldn't be prouder, and I'm very pleased that this is the fellow that's going to carry on the legacy of Chekov.
Of Chekov. I actually did like how he was trying to pronounce when he was doing the announcement. That was a crack. Then you've got Chris Pine, who did James T. Kirk.
I think he's going to be a movie star. I think he has the potential to, he has a lot of charisma and he has a lot of star quality, and he's a very good actor. And in fact, he did a movie about a runaway train. I can't think of the name of it.
I can't remember.
And he was very good in that.
I think I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah.
Then you had Zachary Quinto, who did Spock.
Yeah.
Now, I think he played that part extremely well. He looks the part. He looked like a very young Spock. How do you think that one fared?
Again, a very good actor. For me, I'm a bit spoiled. I really can't see anybody but Leonard
I agree.
really playing that part. I mean, this is so much of Leonard Nimoy's essence. And, acting is generally most successful and most convincing when you bring a lot of yourself to the part.
Exactly.
Where I think Quinto did an accomplished job, he was playing the character. And Leonard is that character. I mean, he was that way off the screen. And, backstage, you could barely talk to him because he was always in character. He was always Spock.
Absolutely agree with you. You can't go past having Leonard as Spock, Trying to remember back, wasn't Spock, Leonard, the person who came up with the Vulcan greeting, wasn't
Right.
it?
Yeah. I think it was in a Hebraic greeting, something to do with Judaism. And Leonard is fairly well schooled in that culture.
Yes.
And so he brought that to the part, that thing.
Live long and prosper.
Yeah.
I can do it both hands, look at that. I'm gifted.
I can see that.
Yeah,
I can see that.
One person I really did believe that played the part extremely well is Carl Urban. He played Bones extremely well. He had the mannerisms down pat for Forrest.
This is the Australian chap, isn't it? Or is it the fellow who plays Scotty? No, it's not the fellow who plays Scotty.
No, I think it was, yeah. We'll research that later.
I'm pretty sure. And in actuality, a little known fact is that we worked together on another project.
Awesome.
It was a pilot for another science fiction project. I was the bad guy and he was the hero. And it didn't get off the ground. It was made and it was publicized, and it seemed like it was an inevitability that it would be produced. But in actuality, it never made it into theaters or DVD or anything else.
Well, that's disappointing. Disappointing. One more thing, Gods of Men.
A good time. I had a really good time in that. And originally, I didn't want to do the part because I thought I had played out Chekov. I had done by doing that other Star Trek internet film that I had done. I thought I had exhausted the character, tapped into everything that I wanted to tap into that I had not had an opportunity when I was doing the series or the films. So I felt, okay, I shot my wad. That's not a dirty expression.
That's all right. I understand that Australian American.
And then, so I felt, okay, I'm done. And then my friend asked me to read the script. Sky Conway, who was one of the producers.
Yep.
And I realized that it's not really Chekov. Or if this was Chekov, it was a different kind of Chekov. Coming from a different place with with strong, fiery, passionate feelings.
The alternate timeline thing happened.
Yeah,
it was great.
Yeah, and so it became another character. And I ended up having a really good time working on that.
That's outstanding. No, I watched it. I found it quite intriguing. I liked your part being the alternative person to who you really were, and of course, I think it turned out extremely well. Now, one more thing, Walter.
Yeah.
What's Walter up to these days? I know everybody interviews you about Star Trek, but you've done a lot of different things in your life. But what's Walter up to these days?
Well, no good. We know that.
Yeah, I've noticed that at the beginning of the interview. I thought I had a bad mind. This fella here, I tell you.
I wrote a graphic novel.
Yes, I read about that. Yes.
Yes, and it's about sentient life on Earth after the apocalypse, and it is solely in the realm of vampires.
Right.
And the difference between my story and I think most other stories is that these are very introspective vampires who are trying to determine why they are here, what their purpose is, what is to follow. It's really about identity and their place, in the universe.
Yes.
And so in that regard, it's quite different, I think, from most vampire stories.
I'd love to be able to get a piece of that. Read that one day if you can.
The operative term here is not a piece, but the whole thing. Well, it's being released as individual books first.
Yes.
And there's an inherent danger in that because these are not self-contained stories. I wrote it as one long story.
Yes.
And I had to almost arbitrarily divide it into 4 parts so they could release them that way. I mean, they all have cliffhanger endings, but it doesn't read, and I don't think it will screen as well. Not screen, but won't read as well.
Read as well.
Yeah. As individual stories as it will when you can read it all together. And doing it that way, you see the flow and you see how it moves and the complexities in the storytelling. There are certain complexities in the storytelling that are harder to grasp if you're reading them one at a time.
Right.
But if you're reading it all at one time, you can go back and say, oh, I see, that's where that came from. So it's called Things to Come. and it's from Blue Water Publications. The first 3 books are done. One has been released. The second one is going to be released any moment. The third one is finished. I think the lettering is now done, which is the last step.
Yep.
So that is imminent. And the fourth story, of course, has been written and is now being painted. So
outstanding.
So that should be done by the end of February.
Good.
Well, absolutely. What I would suggest to all of your fans, and I know you have myriad fans. They go on and on.
All 3 listeners, yes.
You might ask anybody to go to walterkoenigsite.com.
There you go.
And they're pretty up to date on all
awesome.
my activities, and they'll give you the lowdown on where it can be gotten. We were supposed to have a big signing at prestigious Barnes & Noble in Los Angeles, but the book wasn't done, so we had to put it off. I also have another graphic novel, which was actually 3 issues. Initially, was actually 3 issues of a different character that I had written in the 90s called Raver, and they wanted me to write a new story to put with it, and then they're going to re-release that as a graphic novel as well.
That'd be great.
Yeah, and it's interesting the distinction between what I wrote in the 90s and how I wrote and how I...
To what you're writing now, your mind has developed in different ways and different...
Yeah. So, and that was great fun because it really deals with some very topical situations involving dragons, werewolves, and lobbyists.
That'd be great. That'd be awesome. I'd love to see that. That would be absolutely brilliant. Well, I'd love to continue chatting, but I think you probably have to move on now.
No, I can stay for another half hour.
Yeah, that's right. I don't mind. That's fine. Let's just sit back here. That's fine. Chase can come over now and we can all have a chat all together. What do you think? Yeah, we're having a chat later on. I just love this cavalier attitude. It's fan-bloody-tastic. You sure you're not Australian? It's been an absolute pleasure. It really, really has. I really, in my heart and mind, I thank you very much for actually sitting down and having a chat with us.
Great.
Both Steve and I are very much large fans of yours. And do you see much of the original cast?
As little as I possibly can.
I don't know what. I'm not going to think. I'm not going to think.
No, what happens is that Times has a way of separating people. They go in their own directions, and that's pretty much happened with our folks. Occasionally, we still see each other at conventions, but not too much social mixing anymore.
Oh, okay.
I might just add one.
Of course, please. Feel free. This is interview for whatever you want.
Okay, in that case, I would like to sing the Australian national anthem.
Oh.
No, I'm kidding.
Oh, bugger.
No.
It's a shocker.
So, what I was going to say was I recently completed a short film, a really short film, 7.5 minutes, that had a beginning, a middle, and an end. But what I wanted to do, among other things, was to make it, concise and to tell the story that I wanted to tell in as little time as possible. See if I had the discipline as a writer to accomplish that. And it's called Handball.
Handball.
Yeah, and I think it's quite good. It's Herbert Jefferson Jr. who played in Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, yes.
He's the other actor, and I think we're a good match for each other. And it's going to be submitted to festivals, but it might end up on the internet in any case. So that's something to look for.
Yeah, most definitely we'll be looking for it. Sounds like it's bloody brilliant. 7-minute short film. If you can get your thoughts in and out within that time, that means you've done it bloody brilliantly.
Right.
Absolutely brilliant. Thank you very much, Walter. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
I'm just absolutely honoured.